Let us begin today. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivanam kavi virilitam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatam bhuvi grinanti e bhurida janaha. The last week we were discussing about a dream. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna certainly came to a devotee and he asked, "Do you ever have dreams?" And that person then immediately said, "Oh yes, the other day I dreamt a strange dream. I saw the whole world enveloped in water. There was water on all sides. A few boats were visible, but suddenly huge waves appeared and sank them. I was about to board a ship with a few others when he saw a Brahmin walking over the expanse of water. I asked him, 'How can you walk over the deep?' The Brahmin said with a smile, 'Oh, there was no difficulty about that. There was a bridge under the water.' I said to him, 'Where are you going?' 'To Bhavanipur, the city of Divine Mother.' He replied. 'Wait a little,' I cried. 'I shall accompany you.' Then the master said, Sri Ramakrishna said, 'Oh, I am thrilled to hear the story.' The devotee continued. The Brahmin said, 'I am in a hurry. It will take you some time to get out of the boat. Goodbye. Remember this path and come after me.' Then Sri Ramakrishna said, 'Oh, my hair is standing on the end. Please be initiated by a guru.' Now here we read this story, and that proves that initiation is essential, necessary. Because with the initiation we get a link. Holding that link, we can make the progress in the spiritual life. So again, afterwards, we will see that how this initiation, the name of God, helps us. And Sri Ramakrishna is talking about the initiation, and that is in the Upanishad, also in the Vedantic initiation is, they will tell you an ideology, you have to go on practicing. But this type of initiation that the master Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning, it is about the tantric way. So the Ramakrishna mission, it mixed up the Tantra and the Vedanta. We are Vedantin sannyasi, but at the same time we practice initiation in a tantric way. In the Tantra and also in those who are followers of bhakti, they also practice this initiation and the mantra. This helps a mind. We see you will always see the Christians are also counting the beads, the Muslims are also counting the beads, Buddhists are also doing that. That helps. Now Narendra and others spent the night at Dakshinesha, and the next morning they met the master. And here the master is talking with the Narendra. Narendra reported to Sri Ramakrishna, "We noticed several sannyasins belonging to the sect of Nanak in the Panchavati." Master said, "Yes, they arrived here yesterday." Then he looked at the Narendra and said, "I would like to see you all sitting together on the mat." This was, the master used to look at these young people, and when they came back after meditation and morning prayer, he asked them to sit on the mat, particularly Narendra and others. Those who are acquainted with the biography of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, They know that in one place Sri Ramakrishna is telling one Narendra, Rakhal, Baburam, etc., they are comparing with 100 sannyasins. The sannyasins means with the Geruva garbs they are coming, but the sannyasi is the mind, thought, mentality, temperament. That is why Sri Ramakrishna didn't pay much attention to the word when he said the sannyasins have come. He said, you better sit, let me look, let me see. And he could find out who is thinking what. Master told them, whenever that opportunity was there, he was always there, ready to give them some enlightenment. Sri Ramakrishna used to always, he never spent time something else. But sometimes with the young people, he will be spending some time in jokes and fun. But always in that any opportunity, inspiration, Master said, Bhakti, love of God, is the essence of all spiritual discipline. The conversation, when we listen, we find that Master is eager to put all these thoughts in the minds of the young disciples, particularly Narendra. He is telling, Bhakti, love of God, is the essence of all spiritual discipline. Through love, one acquires renunciation and discrimination naturally. Viveka Vairagya. You can remember that in our function, we sang that song, Viveka Vairagya Chuli. Esheche notun manush degibi jodi aaye chole. A new person has come and he is having two bags hanging from both the shoulders. What is that? Viveka Vairagya. These are the two words again and again Sri Ramakrishna is uttering, Viveka and Vairagya. This Viveka and Vairagya means renunciation and dispassion. Without these, one cannot make progress in the spiritual life. He can be a righteous person. He can be a very good person. But without these two things, he cannot realize God. He cannot be spiritual person. Narendra, a young man, and he is reading lot of books. So naturally, constantly different type of thoughts are coming in his mind. Instead of listening to the master or continuing in that thought, he immediately said, isn't it true that Tantra prescribes spiritual discipline in the company of women? He is talking about, Sri Ramakrishna is talking about bhakti, and he suddenly said about the Tantra, master rectifying him. That is not desirable. It is very difficult path and often causes the aspirant's downfall. This Tantra, there is a Veera Bhava, and so many other paths are there. In 62, 65 Tantras are there. Sri Ramakrishna practiced 65. Only in which is practiced in Tantra, what they do, they have divided the whole India, Bharatvarsha, not present India, the Bharatvarsha, in 4 parts. And in different parts and different type of Tantra. In the Kashmir and others, they practice different type of Tantra. But in eastern side, the Bengal, the Tantra of 62 and 65, that Sri Ramakrishna practiced. The master, he practiced this, but he is telling this is not good because there is a downfall. Then he can say, I look on woman as my mother. To regard oneself as a child is very pure attitude. In the meantime, the sannyasins belonging to the sect of Nanak entered the room. Master Mahasaya is describing. And they greeted the master by saying, Namo Narayana. That is the way the sannyasins, they always greet each other. And when here in India also we have the habit of offering pranam. When the elderly people are there, we go and touch their feet, take their blessings. It's not the person. It is actually inside that person, God is there. With that faith, with that belief, we are touching the feet of that person, and moreover, it has become a tradition, it has become a culture to respect the senior people, because they have lot of experiences in the life. So being a junior, one is supposed to go and pay respect to that. Unless and until these laws are continued, this culture is continued, the society will break down. So nowadays, in the modern society, they always think, no, it is all equal. Even the senior people, the professors, they will be going and shaking hands with the students, and they will be talking like a friend, smoking together. It may be good, I do not know. But the law that developed, the discipline that developed in one society after so many hundreds and thousands of experiences, then with that the mind becomes ready to accept. Otherwise, is always protesting mind. So when the young people are coming and talking with the senior people, they are supposed to listen to the senior, because maybe this young man is educated, but that elderly person is having experience. So that way, so in the sannyasi, the groups of sannyasi, when they see each other, Namo Narayana, the God that is residing within you. The master greeted and immediately continued the conversation, always on a religious and spiritual way. Nothing is impossible for God. He is telling to those sannyasis who came, nobody can describe his nature in words. This is very important. The moment we say that God is like this, it is a blasphemy. It is against God. The moment we are limiting the God by telling that this is God, Sri Ramakrishna said, by that way you are denying God. God is fathomless, infinite, many, millions. You cannot think of it. Whatever you have understood, you can say, I have understood up to this. Nobody can describe his nature in words. Everything is possible for him. Immediately, he is telling a story, and through that story, always elaborated his teachings. There lived at a certain place two yogis who were practicing spiritual discipline. The sage Narada was passing that way one day. Realizing who he was, one of the yogis said, "You have just come from God himself. What is he doing now?" One of the yogis asked, "What is God doing now?" The sage Narada replied, "Why, I saw him making camels and elephants pass and repass through the eye of a needle." Look at it, the eye of a needle, the small hole that the needle is having, through that the camels and elephants, God is putting this side and that side again and again. But the other yogi said, "What? Making elephants pass through the eye of a needle? Is that ever possible?" But the first one said, "Is that anything to wonder at? Everything is possible for God." The two yogis, both are practicing spirituality. One has clear idea that God can do anything and everything because all powerful. And other, though practicing spirituality, has not that faith and belief. So by that, Sri Ramakrishna, he is elaborating. When Narendra and his friends finished the bathing in the Ganga, he asked them to go and meditate at the Panchavati. And there, when they were meditating, Master went there to see how they are meditating. And looking at the friend of Narendra, who was a member of the Brahma Samaj, he said, "In meditation, one must be absorbed in God." So practicing meditation means is very difficult, because We have to forget this external world. We have to forget this body. Some of the people, some of the devotees, they always ask, please teach meditation. Meditation teaching is nothing. It is practicing. One has to practice it. How? Whatever way you can see it, you can see it. Only forget yourself and think of God, that's all. And that is the reason the Hindus, they always take a deity. If you have a personal deity, a God, a form, a picture, an image, it becomes easy to concentrate. We know the God is all pervading. We know it is not having the form. But why they have prescribed this? The first generation, the rishis, they were not having any form. Ishavashamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. In the first verse of the Isha Upanishad, they say, the God is all pervading, enveloping, covering each and everything of this world that you see. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavatam, in the other Upanishads, every time they say God is all pervading. But can we really concentrate on all pervading God? No. And that is the reason slowly they understood this limitation of the people, so they gave this idea. Bhaktanam anukampartham brahmana rupa kalpana. Rupa means the forms, kalpana, imagine. And that is the reason we have 33 crores of gods and goddesses. No problem. So many varieties of gods and goddesses. Most of the questions about Hinduism is, why so many gods and goddesses? That is the reason. Any god, any form, any deity, any picture you like, make it your god or goddess, an object of concentration. But one thing, the moment you are concentrating your mind on a particular subject or an object, that idea, that ideology will impress your mind. That is why always they say, try to imagine, concentrate on those gods and goddesses or higher life, spiritual life, which will inspire you afterwards. The Ramachandra, Sri Krishna, and this type of gods and goddesses means their life. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling to the friend of Narendranath. Narendranath he didn't say because he was very good in meditation. To his friend, in meditation one must be absorbed in God. By merely floating on the surface of the water, can you reach the gems lying at the bottom of the sea? See how he is telling that meditation means the control of the mind. And the mind is just like a lake. When one after another thoughts we are throwing, it's like throwing a stone in the water. The moment we are throwing a stone in the water, it is creating the ripples. When there is waves and ripples, we cannot see the bottom. And we cannot understand anything. The moment it is very clear, tranquil, quiet, we can see the bottom of the Sri Ramakrishna now singing a song. It's a very famous song of Ram Prasad. Taking the name of Kali, dive deep down, O mind. Dub de re man Kali bole, Hridi ratna kare ragad jale, Dub de re man Kali bole. Go down deep into the Kali, the goddess. It's just like the ocean, where it is, in the mind. Then he is telling, suppose you are trying to meditate, trying to go down into the deep, into the mind, and not finding any result. Don't be disheartened. Sometimes the people, they are divers, they are going deep at the bottom of the ocean, but not finding the pearls. That doesn't mean that there is no pearls at the bottom of the sea. Ratna karnai shunna kakhon, Duchar dube dhan na pele. Through songs, the excellent teaching. Ratnakar means the ocean. It is never without the gems. And again and again and again and again, go on trying. So that is the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And he is telling, but one thing you must be very, very careful about. What is that? Then when you are trying to concentrate your mind, there will be so many other things will come up. What are those things? We know that story when the two brothers, the gods we can say, they went to the gods means God with small g, to the ultimate God and said, what we should do to get peace, to get eternity, immortality. He said, churn the ocean. Samudra Manthan. This is a big thing. Almost all the Indians will be knowing the story of Samudra Manthan. And every year there will be the greatest show on the earth. That is our Kumbh Mela. No one, in no religion, in no culture, they could gather so many millions of people of so many varieties. Only one idea, to become eternal, immortal. And that is called Kumbh Mela. And what is that? The kahini, the story, very attractive story. And the God said, the Supreme God, go and churn the ocean. How to churn the ocean? You need something strong, like a pillar, so that you can churn the ocean. And at the bottom of the ocean, it needs something hard over which that pillar will be. Then you need a rope. By holding both the sides of the rope, you have to churn. Then the God said, as a kurma, as a tortoise, because the back of the tortoise is very hard, I will become a tortoise and sit over there, bottom of the sea. And you place the Parvat, Mainak Parvat, as a very famous hill. You place that over my back. Then you take the Basuki. Basuki is a big snake as a rope. And you alone cannot do it. Take the help of your brother, Asura. Sura and Asura. Again and again, and every time it will come, Sura and Asura. The gods and the demons. What is the difference between a god and a demon? Only desire and without desire. A demon is having great desire, and the god is having no desire. That's all. And even if they are having some desire, it's not physical desire, spiritual desires. So that is the only difference. So the God said, you take the help of the demons too, because you cannot churn. And they started churning. You know the story. But what actually it is, then in different places they will be having Purna Kumbha, Ardha Kumbha, so many other. And all people will gather, there will be huge and huge gatherings of millions of people. Actually it is the mind. It is the human mind. And what is the kurma, the tortoise? Faith on God. The complete faith on God. God is there. On that faith, you are putting your own desire. Yeah, I am going to realize God. Mainaka Parvata. And then churning with a rope. What is that rope? The snake. What is that snake? Meditation. Yoga. Yoga is the snake. Many times I told, the meditation, the symbol of meditation, symbol of yoga is snake. Why? Because the primal power, when travels within the body, it travels like a snake. Yogis, they say. So that is the reason, snake. And they are churning. What came up? So many good things in the beginning. When one begins the spiritual life, he starts receiving the respect from the people. He start receiving many gifts from the people in the society. And slowly, so many other things will come at ease. And then suddenly, the next phase will come. What is that? Bhenam. What is that Bhenam? Sri Ramakrishna is telling that Bhenam means there are 6 passions. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. This last, anger, avarice, delusion, pride and envy. All these things will come. And then you are dead. They will come and eat you up. It's like the alligators. They will come and eat you up. So you have to be very, very careful about that. Otherwise, the same meditation, spiritual discipline, progress in the spiritual life, religious life will destroy you. So this is the teachings. One must be very careful about this. So again and again, I have to tell why I gave the name Panchama Veda to the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. This time also when I went to Providence, they were asking, can you please explain why Panchama Veda? So this is, Veda means the knowledge, wonderful knowledge. Some people are telling you have to meditate, but we have to be careful that through meditation, good things will come, spiritual things will come, but at the same time, this type of venoms will also come, poison will also come. We have to be very careful about. And majority of the people, they become the prey to this. The Sri Ramakrishna is telling, first of all, set up God in the shrine of your heart. God alone is real. All else is unreal. Again and again, Sri Ramakrishna tells this. Ishwar Shuddha and Sha Mitha. And coming Sunday, we will be discussing about the Shankaracharya, this young prodigy. And he is telling to his disciples, who himself has written so many treatises, composed so many stotras, he told all the disciples that I can tell you the truth in half a sentence. What is that? Sloka ardhena pravakshyami, ardhena slokena. In half a slok, I can tell you, yad uktam granthakoti bhihi, which has been narrated, explained, told by millions of scriptures. What is that? Brahma Satya Jagan Mitha. Brahma Satya Jagan Mitha. Then Jiva Brahmaiva na apara. Sri Ramakrishna said, God alone is real, everything else is unreal. And this Sunday, I went to the Hindu temple. One gentleman was asking this question. How come that everything is unreal? Illusory. It cannot be. I told at this time, for us, it is really not illusory. It is not really unreal. But some people who have gone above this level, highest in the spiritual level, for them it is. So when these words are spoken, it is for them. For right now, we won't be able to understand it. And the same question I had to face in the Providence also. Going on arguing, how these can be unreal. I told you, don't believe that it is unreal? No, you don't. You need not to believe. Continue. A time will come when you will understand this is unreal. Because the people who realize the unreality of this world, they are not ordinary people. They are telling you the truth. When a child is playing with a doll and he is or she is carrying the doll in hand, taking lot of care and sometimes feeding the doll, talking with the doll, asking the doll not to make any sound, everything is so very real for the child. For the grown-ups, it's just a game and fun. Now, when we are now behaving with this world, spiritual personalities like the Jesus, the Buddha, Sri Ramakrishna, Chaitanya, Shankara, They will be laughing at us. Oh, anyway, continue. But why this is so difficult to realize? It is really difficult. Because for that only all our existence. A personality like Narendranath, who was supposed to be afterwards Vivekananda, when he came, Sri Ramakrishna saw that he belongs to that height, that group, and just wanted to check how far he has reached, ready in his mind. It touched him. Tremendous power of spirituality. Narendra need not to go any spiritual practices, only by touch. Immediately, Narendra started seeing that whole universe is melting. Those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, they know this incident. Sri Ramakrishna touched him, and the young, 18 years old, Narendranath, he is seeing, he is shouting, the whole universe is melting, it is roaming so fast. Melting. Then he shouted, "What you have done to me? I have my father, I have my mother. I have to look after them." Then Sri Ramakrishna said, okay. Now up to this. He was so much attached with the family, father, mother, his responsibility as a son. So he was not that moment ready to realize the truth. Though he was getting the highest truth, the realization for which all of us are trying so hard, just by touch he was going to get that. He was not ready. So Sri Ramakrishna said, okay. So similarly, those people even intellectually is not ready to accept this, okay, for them. But Sri Ramakrishna is telling God alone is real, all else is illusory. Then he is telling that you have to put in your shrine of heart God, and immediately as his own speciality, he is telling a story again. And through the small funny stories, imprinting that ideology, the teaching in our mind. He is telling, there lived in a village a young man named Padmalochan. People used to call him Podo for short. In this village there was a temple in a very dilapidated condition. It contained no image of God. Ashwatha and other plants sprang up on the ruins of its walls. Bats lived inside, and the floor was covered with dust and the droppings of the bats. The people of the village had stopped visiting the temple. One day, after dusk, the villagers heard the sound of conch shell. From the direction of the temple, they thought perhaps someone had installed an image in the shrine and was performing the evening worship. They all ran to the shrine. Door was closed. One of them softly opened the door and saw Padmalochan standing in a corner blowing the conch. No image had been set up. Temple hadn't been swept or washed. Filth and dirt lay everywhere. And he was going on blowing the conch, performing evening arati puja. Then the villagers told him, "You have set up no image here within the shrine, O fool. Blowing the conch, you simply make confusion. Words confounded. Day and night, 11 bats scream there incessantly." In Bengali, they said, "Mandire tor neiko madho, shak phuke tui korli gol." Mandir, in the temple, there is no. So if there is no God within the heart, then you are not a spiritual man. You are not a religious person. You are only a traveler in the path of religion. Yes, we have started walking on the path of religion. So this is what Sri Ramakrishna is emphasizing. First of all, set up God in the shrine of your heart. And he was elaborating this through the story of the Podo. If you want to realize God, first of all, Sri Ramakrishna said, if you want to realize God, first of all, purify your mind. Unless and until you are purifying your mind, you cannot realize God. Now the question is, how to purify the mind? Now in this world we find two things. One is jada, that is inert. Another is consciousness, chaitanya. This only. What is consciousness? God. The chaitanya, that is the God. And we call ourselves chaitanya, chetana. We are conscious. This is our conscious mind. And when they will be writing the will, and they will write, in my consciousness I am writing that, etc. What is that consciousness actually? A reflection of the real consciousness. The consciousness that we are having right this moment is the reflection of the original real consciousness. If you go to India, people are all cursing sun because of the scorching that heat and light. But in the night, when the moon is coming, they are coming out singing, dancing and praising, writing poems about the beautiful light of the moon. But is the moon having any real light? It is the reflection of the sun only. The reflected glory of the sun. So that is the same way we are getting, oh, that person is really intelligent, very educated, sharp intellect, and he can do this and that. What is that? The reflection of the same God. So if we, the moment we understand this, our buddhi, our chetana, our consciousness is nothing but the reflection of the original consciousness. And that is why ghata and pata, again and again in the Vedanta, if you read, they will be using this. In those days, there was not much things. So whatever they had, they used to use to elaborate. Ghata means some type of thing which holds the water. The pitcher, we can say, not a long neck, is an open neck. And there the reflection of the sun or the moon is coming. Water is there, reflection of the sun is there, and the children are playing with the sun. They are putting the hand on the sun. Can they really touch? Can we really touch? But we are really doing it, thinking that we are touching the sun, which is millions of miles away from us. So that is the reflection of God within us. And that same God, that's why Swamiji is telling, it's not just a few words, it's a truth that he is telling. Each soul is potentially divine. Each soul, anything and everything that is having the life, is having the potentiality of divinity. Because the reflection is there. Moment you understand that this is the only reflection, immediately your mind go to the reality. What is this? Reflection comes from, you look up, you see the sun, you get the realization of the sun, idea, knowledge about sun, you are realized. The moment we look down and go deep down into the mind, what we find? That reality. Why again and again they say you have to meditate? Why in every religious path they will be telling, concentrate your mind. Why that? Because the moment we can concentrate, we see God that we are searching out is within us. It is within. There are other examples also. They say, when the sun is reflected on the mirror, but if the mirror is covered with dust and clay, it's not reflected. Does it mean the mirror cannot be reflected? Why not? That's why Swami Vivekananda said, each saint had a past and every sinner has a future. Anyone thinking about, oh no, I made a mistake, this is the reflection of God, I am the son of God, I am Amridasya Putraha, we are the children of immortal bliss. Boss, that's all. Immediately you are free. In the Vivek Chudamani and the Shankara is giving the stress on that. Manaiva Baddha, with the moment you are thinking that I am bound, you are bound. I am weak. Someone was reading a book before Sri Ramakrishna. We are weak, we are sinners. Sri Ramakrishna, stop it. Why you are constantly telling like this? By repeating those things, you are becoming weak. You should not do that. And that is why one should be very careful when one reading books. Why? Because the writer, what type of writer he is, that we have to be careful. So I am just mentioning it, nothing wrong. I went to hear, attend a Kavi Sammelan in the Uttar Pradesh organization, the Kavi Sammelan. The Kavis I attended this type of Kavi Sammelan earlier also. They make fun, jokes, and these kavitas are not like the Bengali kavitas. They make mostly 2, 3 lines. It's like Bengali kaviyal. In the villages, the kaviyals immediately on the spot, they will compose something and they will speak about. And similarly, they also immediately they will compose and say something. But sometimes they also compose earlier and they say it's good. And here one person, there are 3 kaviyals, I heard 2, and one person he was telling about his father. And slowly he was taking the mind of all the audience, the listeners, up. And he was telling, when I was a young man, I never used to listen to my father. When I have grown up, I can understand I am living actually in the steps of my father. He is breathing through me. All these things are nothing but. So slowly people were developing a mental attitude, a gratefulness to all respective fathers. Next man got up and broke the whole idea. And immediately he said, hey, he was talking about his father and then he was lionizing his father. My father was. He was not supposed to do that. He could tell that in another occasion when something else is there. So when the mind is up, that is the excellent condition. The human mind is just like if you are putting down, it goes down. If you are taking it up, it goes up. That our Turiyanandaji Maharaj who came here to spread Vedanta, he was a yogi and jnani, dhyani and jnani. And when he used to lecture, before starting the lecture, he used to utter Omkara many times. Om, Om, Om. He will be going on repeating many times. Sometimes some people used to get bored. Why he is going on repeating Omkara when he will speak? One asked this question to him, Swamiji, every day you are repeating the Omkara so many times and then you are speaking. Time becomes short, why don't you start? Right? Then he said, what I am going to tell, how they will understand. I prepare their mind to understand what I will say. So they are spiritually very high. So they could see the mind of the people, and to help them he used to do that. Turiyanandaji has different type of stories like that. He could see things and he could immediately. And that just right now I am remembering another incident in the life of Turiyanandaji, the great yogis and jnanis. And one brahmachari was coming down after worshipping in the temple. If you have already visited the Belur Math, you have seen that we say old temple, actually the place where Swamiji installed that Sri Ramakrishna first. Now is a new temple and that is also used as a shrine. That was the main shrine in the old days. Just when they were coming down at the left hand side, there's a 2-storied building on the ground floor. They used to sit usually, the direct disciples, in the morning time, chatting, talking. So when brahmachari was coming down after puja, 2 Swamis, Turiyanandaji and another Swami, They were chatting among themselves, between themselves. And suddenly, Turiyanandaji got excited, stood up, went near the brahmacharis and showing the finger, he was shouting, "Go away, you wretch, go away," like that. Brahmachari was taken away. What happened? He was so much afraid, he ran from there. Then Turiyanandaji came and sat. He became once again normal. Then the other brothers asked him, "Swamiji, what happened?" Brahmachari, after the worship, he was coming down. He didn't do any mistake. Why you were scolding him and so? And did I scold the brahmachari? No, I didn't. But right now you were doing so. Oh no, you have not seen. A very bad Atma, it was coming to grab that brahmachari. And that is why I was driving that soul away from the brahmachari to save the brahmachari. I didn't scold the brahmachari, I was scolding that. So these are the things it happens, and they saw our another Swamiji, there was a plague was coming. Suddenly, in great excitement, he went to the back door of the ashrama, opened the door, folded his hands, and he was talking to someone. "Oh mother, don't enter here. Oh mother, don't enter here. He has only sadhus and brahmacharyas. We have no one else except the God. We only pray to God. This is our life. Don't enter here." Then afterwards he became normal, as if normal, and closed the door. Then people asked him what happened. Then he was as if wondering, because other can't see. They say it's so normal, so they think everybody is seeing. He said, "You didn't see? That plague was coming. I asked that plague to go away from here, not to enter into the ashrama." So this happened on the soil of Belur. So this happened in the minds of people, and this is possible. So always they are telling this is nothing abnormal, this is so normal. But what we have to do, we have to understand that you have to quieten your mind. And to quieten your mind, what you have to do, you have to give up the desire. And how to give up the desire? Discrimination and renunciation. And what are the other paths? Easy path, take initiation. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna was telling. Take initiation and go on repeating the name of God. And what will happen? You need not to discriminate. You need not to go on thinking that I am not accepting this, I am only accepting. Nothing you have to do, because you are only going on holding the name of God in your mind. So that is the reason the people they say, unless you are initiated, you are not eligible to do puja. In the Brahmin families, they used to give the initiation of the children, even 8 years, 12 years, so that they can also help in the puja family shrine. Why? Because the moment you are taking the name of God, you are becoming purified. And that is what Sri Ramakrishna said. There is jada and chetana, inert and consciousness. This body, the blade of grass, and everything that we see is nothing but inert. The more you are thinking about the inner thing, impure mind. The more you are thinking about the consciousness, pure mind. So what is the condition of the pure mind? Thinking of God. And what is God? Unselfish love. When you are talking about God, it's a word only, but actually at the back of the word, what is the real meaning? Love. And that love, unselfish love. Even the mothers love their children with a selfishness, with some desire, some idea that my son will help me. Some of the mothers used to come when we joined in the Ramakrishna mission. Our friends also came, their mothers will be coming and shouting, "If I knew that you will become a sannyasi, I would have killed you immediately after your birth." So she was expecting the son will help her, support her, etc., etc. Desire was there. So we spend so much of money for you. Now after being educated without supporting us, by earning money, you have left. So they used to scold the children, my boys, like that. So anyway, that means even the mothers, the parents also have this desire. The children will support us. But unselfish love. Love, but totally unselfish, without any desire. I love you, but I never expect that you will also return me the love. No. Love knows no barter, Swami Vivekananda is telling in his Bhakti Yoga. Love knows no barter. Barter means exchange. So this love knows no barter means only give, give and give. And that is when you are going on repeating the name of God with that type of mind, the chetana, the consciousness is becoming more and more and more manifested. And the more it manifests, more you are divine, more you are godly. And more you are godly, the more people will be attracted to you. More people will come to listen to you, to mix with you. And then you have to be very careful. The more the popularity, more the danger. So all those things are related in such a way. So the moment you are climbing up, again something will come. So you have to go on holding the feet of the God. Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda, when he has composed this song, the prayer song for Sri Ramakrishna, he is mentioning Sampada, Tava Sri Pada. Your that holy feet, O God, is my only desire, my only treasure. I don't want anything else. Then he said, Bhava Goshpada Vari Jathai. But this world is just like the water in a hoop of a cow. When the cows are walking, the hoops and the little water that will be accumulated in that, the water, depressed land, a little water is just like that. It is of no use. You cannot drink, you cannot use that water for any reason. It is just like that. Bhava Goshpada. Bhava means this world. Goshpada, the hoof of that cow. Barijathai is the water that has been accumulated in that. So that is the way we have to think. The Jada and Chetana. Everything is nothing but the Jada. And now the life, the consciousness, the thought, everything that I have, the knowledge that I have, nothing but the reflection of the higher consciousness. So be humble, always humble. I do not understand how you are, but I can feel, and intellectually I try to understand that you are within me. Oh God, be merciful to me and please show how you really are. So through bhakti, through prayer, we can realize God. Thank you. Today and next day again we will discuss about the Panchama Veda. Let us complete this with the pranam mantra. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa drita vigraham vai Ishabataram Parameshamidyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.